Hey, sports card collectors and investors, thank you for joining again for another episode. Have to apologize, I somehow misplaced my microphone, so I might be kind of yelling a little bit louder than usual, just because I'm not sure if this is going to translate well over. I'm also going to get kind of close to the camera as well, so my face might look triple extra large today, as if my head is not big enough already. But what can you do? So today I'm going to cover some more recent pickups that I had that I'm excited about, and the one that I'm most excited about I'm saving for last. So stay tuned through the whole video if possible, and we will go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, I've got this is an outside of the box pick for me, I'll be perfectly honest. It's a 1997 Topps Chrome PSA 10. This is a Gary Payton a number T9 refractor card, and for this one I am all in for $88.42. And so a big reason why I picked this one was simply because he is a Hall of Fame player. I believe he's going to have some sort of a piece inside the Last Dance documentary with Michael Jordan, and so this is kind of short-term thinking with possible long-term hold attached to it. I'm assuming that maybe he'll get a bump because of the documentary. They do play the Sonics in the finals for one of the series, so I don't know if they'll touch on it. And I think in the trailer I saw that they do sit down with Gary Payton and interview him. So will this give his card a bump? I am not sure at all. This is the only Gary Payton card that I own. Another reason I went on this one is there's only one PSA 10 out there on the PSA Pop Report currently. And so if somebody is looking for this particular card, this is the only one that is available. Now, of course, there's other refractors, there's other inserts, but I really like, with kind of those late 90s, especially the Topps Chrome sets becoming more and more popular. I just thought, hey, why not give this one a shot? It's not inexpensive by any means at $88, but it's also not breaking the bank. It's not a $200 card. So I thought I would give that one a shot and see what happens. Next up, I picked up a 1988 Fleer All-Star number 124 Larry Bird PSA 10. This one, and first off, I'm a big Larry Bird fan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson fan anyway. And then with the documentary kind of, showcasing that these guys were the superstars before Michael Jordan came on board, in the late 80s, or when he really took off, in the mid to late 80s. These were the guys, in 1980, from 85 that were, really the popular players in the league. And so, I've been looking really hard at graded, and I would say I've gone all the way down to PSA 10. And I'm looking at Larry Bird, I'm looking at Magic Johnson, I'm looking at Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm kind of late to the game on this, honestly. I mean, I know a lot of people have been buying up 86 Fleer for a while, for example, with it being an iconic set. But I'm looking at this as, what are those kind of next sets? 86 Fleer is obviously extremely popular. 87, 88 Fleer is what I've been looking at as maybe, hey, maybe these are the ones that are next to come up in popularity. And then as I look at these, these all-star cards and some of the stickers, in those late 80s sets, it seems like there's some pretty decent value. So for this Larry Bird card, I'm all in at $103.35. The PSA Pop Report for 10s right now, this is a PSA 10, it sits at $158. So it's not super scarce, but at the same time, I'll be honest with you, I thought that there would be more. I thought there would be 500, 1,000 of these out there, just with it being a set that they did produce a fair amount of this set. So it's not, the print runs on this set from my understanding are not super low. And it could just be too that people have not sent these in for grading just because they haven't felt like, this is a valuable enough card to spend on grading. There could be many of them sitting out there, but how many of them sitting out there are going to get a PSA 10 from 1988? And that's kind of what I'm banking on and hoping that, there's not a million of those out there at PSA 10. And I just thought, hey, this seems like pretty good value, especially if I'm looking at what, a PSA 10 Michael Jordan All-Star, 1988 Fleer All-Star card is going for. Seems like a pretty decent play. And, if anything, like I said, it can go to the PC. I'm a Larry Bird fan, so for me, it's like if I can't flip it, I'm okay holding it. I love how the card looks. I like looking at it. So it's not the end of the world if I can't flip the card, in the near future. Next up, I've got a 2007 Stadium Club Beam Team Relics Dwayne Wade PSA 9. And this card, part of it was the price tag for me. On the one hand, the Beam Team cards have really, they've become more and more popular recently. Stadium Club is one of those sets that I collected as a kid back, in the early 90s. So this certainly isn't, a new card. It's a 2007, but it is a D Wade. D Wade's looking at the Hall of Fame in the next few years. He's eligible in 2022. I'm all in on the card at $23.89. It's a graded PSA 9. It's the only graded card for this one. So I looked on the PSA population report. There's not a PSA 10, there's not an 8, there's not a 7, there's not a 5. There's just one PSA 9 on that report, and it's this one. So, not that means anything, probably just because there are, other ones that are hanging out there that just haven't been sent in for grading. But to me, I was kind of surprised at that there's only one that's ever been graded. And that's right around the time when they won the championship, 2008, I believe. And so for me, $23, it's a graded card. I mean, heck, it costs $10 to $15 to grade a card to begin with. So that just seems like a pretty good value for me. I'm a Wade fan, but that's one that I'll probably just hang on to. And if they do rise, once the Hall of Fame stuff rolls around, then great. Maybe I'll look to move it at that point. Next, I'm going with second-year Luka, a second-year Luka card. This is the 2019 Luka Optic Purple Prism. And you've probably seen these out there. This one's raw. I'm all in with shipping, tax tag, title at $14.53. So for me, with how popular Optic is, it's Luka. So arguably, other than Zion, or Ja, the most popular modern players right this second. Can't really beat that value in my mind. I really thought that I got a good price for that. And so we'll see. This is one where I'm thinking about. I've got a few cards kind of like this where maybe I send off to SGC here in the next month or so, assuming that their turnaround times don't get to the same as what PSA is, or who knows, maybe PSA will get a hold of their stuff and speed everything up, and maybe it'll be worth sending to PSA. But even if I keep this raw, I'm perfectly fine with that. That could be something that maybe becomes a $40, $50, $60 card, down the line here towards the end of the year. Who knows? So it might be one that I keep. It might be one that I look to flip, but just seemed like really good value. And again, I'm not, I'm not a pro grader. I'm not great. There's others that are very good at this. They can look at a card online and say, okay, that looks really good. I think that could be a 10. I'm gonna go for it. I didn't buy it for that reason. I mean, even if this became a 9, I'd probably be perfectly fine with that. So, but this is one where, with all the second-year cards gaining in popularity, I think that Luka being, a superstar, I just feel like couldn't really miss at about $15 for this one. Next up, kind of along the same lines, it's 2019 Tyler Hero Optics Silver Wave Fanatic. These are fairly common on eBay. You can find them, but this one in particular, I got this one for $10.53 grand total, and that's including shipping and everything. So again, like $10, for an Optic Tyler Hero, and it is that Silver Wave Fanatics. I think that those are more common. I'm not sure what those print runs are, but again, I'm all in on. I really like Tyler Hero, and just seemed like a good value play. So why not? Next up, I'm going back to the 80s. 1988 Fleer Akeem Olajuwon. This is a PSA 9. I was all in at $33.92. So again, I'm not breaking the bank, and I'm just thinking as time goes on, if Olajuwon, just being he's probably a top 15 player of all time, I would say. It's not a second year card. It's not. I think it's his third year. Because if 86 is his rookie, so 87, 88. But again, I'm kind of banking on this being more of the iconic set. So I'm banking more on the set, and then the player is secondary here. just as you see the sets. And part of how I evaluate this, if we're going back, is I'm looking at what sets, if I want to go get packs right now and I want to hunt for cards, what sets are affordable and what sets are expensive and rare to find packs. And as I was looking at this, 88 Fleer is kind of where that cutoff was for me. If you look at like 89, 90 Hoops basketball, or you starting to get 90, 91, you know, I bought a box just for the fun of it of 90, 91 Skybox. I got it for $30 or $35 shipped to me. But if I'm looking on eBay, there's loads of 90, 91 Skybox basketball to buy. So to me, if I'm buying those with the idea of hunting, you know, for Michael Jordans that I'm then going to grade and then I'm going to resell, I don't know. I just think that they're too common. You know, and so when I'm looking at sets, I'm just trying to go back as far back as I can to where it's like, okay, it's rare to find packs, and if you can find packs, have they been tampered with? You know, are they $100 a pack, $50 a pack? Those are the guys that I'm buying on the single. So I'm buying single cards of those sets because my thinking is as well, okay, if everyone's going to go hunting for cards, it's going to cost them a pretty penny to do that. Then you've got grading costs. You know, so these could be undervalued. That's my thought process as I'm looking at these 80s sets, and even 90s sets for that matter. Okay, so we just did a Olajuwon. Last but not least, okay, so I saved the one that I'm most excited about, and the big reason why you guys might think I'm kind of nuts, but the big reason why I'm excited about this one is my first BGS 10 pristine card that I own. I've always gone PSA, and I've got BGS 9.5, but this is the first BGS 10. It is a 2019 Luka Prism second year card. It's number 75. It's the Ruby Wave. And this one popped up on eBay, and I was just thinking, like, man, I just don't see BGS 10s that often. The PSA 10 pop count for these right now sits at 18. So I use that as kind of a reference point. Now, granted, there's probably many, many more that are sitting at PSA right now. So do I think there's 18 in existence and that's going to stay like that? No, not at all. I think there's going to be a lot of those coming back. Probably a lot of PSA 10s coming back from PSA over the next few months to kick that up. But I'm all in on this card at $219.63. And this kind of goes along with just buying those second year cards where I feel like there could be value. And this is one where I do think that there could be value with Prism being the hot set. Prism and Optic of where I've been living really, over the last little bit here. If we're looking at sets, Prism started in 2012, and I believe it was 2016 when Optic started and took off. So those are the sets I've really been hovering around. I haven't taken a shot. A lot of people, it's kind of like, what's that next hot set? I'm just not good at guessing it, so I'm hoping that somebody else somebody else will share what they think it is and go in and maybe that'll become the next hot set, and then I'll probably jump on the bandwagon. Kind of like what I did with Optic. I was late to the game, like I am with a lot of this stuff, but I'm okay being late to the game and still finding what I believe are value cards within those sets than trying to guess what that next set is going to be, because there's just so many sets out there. I'd rather be a little bit late. Maybe I'm not getting in at the very beginning, but I'm getting in right after. I'm okay with that. So, guys, let me know what you think of these cards. I'm excited about them. These were all basketball. I also go in on football and some baseball here occasionally, but my focus is mostly basketball and football. And it could be vintage, it could be modern, Bronze Age if you consider 80s. Not exactly. 80s is kind of like in the middle. It's not really vintage, but it's not really modern. So I'm open game for all those, but I've just seen a lot of value in basketball, and because I follow basketball and football, I just feel more comfortable from an investment standpoint picking which cards I feel comfortable with. So that's why those are my main focus. With baseball, I'm still kind of learning, so I'm throwing some of my resources in that pot, but not as many until I kind of get more acquainted with where I need to be on those. So thank you very much again for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you guys can hear me. Like I said, I can't find my microphone. I hope I can find it here soon. But I'm excited to see you guys in the next video. So take care, and we will talk to you again later.